If you're the sort of person that thinks that money, fame, or success will make you happy, then this is the book for you. This is Happy, Sexy Millionaire by Stephen Bartlett. Now, I'd known about this book for maybe about a year and a half, but part of the reason I didn't get it earlier was actually because of the title. I was a little bit worried that Happy, Sexy Millionaire is going to be one of those kind of books. And I've only really known about Stephen Bartlett for maybe the last year or so. Hello, Jake from the future here, more specifically 27 minutes after I recorded that video, and I realised that I haven't known about this book for a year and a half, because it only came out on the 23rd of March this time last year. So it's incredible how poor my perception of time is. If I've only known about this book since it came out, I must have only known Stephen Bartlett for maybe about 6 months or so. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm not losing my mind. I just have no grip on how long I've actually known about things for. But in fact, having read this book now, and this will be again kind of an impromptu review, I'm really glad I did pick it up, because it's certainly got lots of notes in there from me about things I was thinking. One of the things I find really, really interesting about this book is it covers lots of the stuff that I've read in the past, even some of the more niche stuff as well. And in some of the many chapters, there are themes that sort of build on things I've already thought about my own life, my own business, come from previous books that I've read. One of them I want to kind of touch on is this idea that money makes you happier. And it's obviously one that, out of context, I'm just like, yes, I would be happier if I had more money, but also the case of getting there. Stephen uses the example of when he was really, really happy finding like £13 down the back of like a chip shop sofa, when he was in Manchester, and then compares that to the feeling he got when he was listing his company's social chain on the stock exchange, and he found that he was worth, X tens of millions of pounds. Vastly different. He said he was much happier when he found the £13 down the back of the sofa than the 30 or so million, which for me was really weird. But I could sort of try to understand that, knowing that sure, I'd like to earn a certain amount of money, but that happiness is kind of like it just depends on what you use it for. In the latter situation, like what would that money change about his life? Probably not much. But that £13 was going to mean that he could eat for the next couple of days. And I think that perception is something that I really want to take away from this book. Now, of course, this is a book I read last month. I've only just got around to doing the video, but obviously I don't want to spoil any of it. One challenge I did have with this book, though, is it calls out a lot of traditional wisdom or stuff that other people say, and I like that happens really, because there's quite a lot of, certainly on LinkedIn, but there's quite a lot of groupthink for certain things, and one of them that I want to highlight was the follow your passion thing, which I've called out quite a lot on my TikTok anyway, but I still tend to use it because everyone kind of gets what that means. Certainly as adults we get what that's supposed to mean, but maybe young people we don't get that as much. And there's just a whole paragraph of him calling it out, which is I found really, really good, but what it lacked, I think, was that really clear call to action. It's like, okay, follow your passion doesn't work, it isn't clear, but what instead? Which is something that I've really tried to be focused on with my work and my speaking as well. But to be honest, this book has been really, really useful, and like I said, I think I could sort of flip to any page and there's just like scribbles and notes in there about what I will do or what I have done, and sort of allowed me to align that. And I think this book would be really, really useful for especially young people like myself that are maybe just starting a different path, or have the perception that if they earn a certain amount of money they would be happy, which is kind of like my story, or if they went to the gym and had a really good looking body, then they would get the perfect partner and then they would be happy. Those sorts of things that we know from experience, or maybe from experience, maybe not, we know that isn't the way to fulfillment, but at the time you view it as it is. So this might be the first take as well, to be honest. I've been trying to make these a little bit more candid. But that is my sort of recommendation of Happy Sexy Millionaire. Really, really good book, and Stephen is a top bloke as well. So if you get the chance to follow him on LinkedIn, or watch him on Dragon's Den, or listen to his podcast as well, like they're all gold. Yes, so that is Happy Sexy Millionaire by Stephen Bartlett.